Nowadays, there's tons of ways that you can generate leads, but there is one specific trick that just came up, and after over 2 years of experience using it, I think it might be the best way that you can bring in leads. And no, it's not ads, cold email, or cold calling. I've seen business owners book over 200 meetings in just 30 days of using this method, and the best part is you can fully automate it so that you can generate leads without being in your computer. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what it is so you can start implementing and booking a ton more sales calls for your business. Even though there's an infinite number of tools available so you can start generating leads, hundreds of business owners are just finding it way harder to actually generate good leads. And why is this the case? Let's just take a look at cold email. With cold email, we've got decreasing open rates, emails just getting caught up in spam, deliverability issues, you name it, all problems are happening with cold email right now. There is also risk of you getting sued just due to the nature of not complying, and people just really have like a harder time trusting a cold email. And it's not just cold email that's suffering, cold calling has been taking hits as well. People are just more weary. There's settings on iPhones where you can just silence unknown callers, which most people have turned on, and so you really need to be a master in order for cold calls to actually work. And lastly, we have ads. So unless you really know what you're doing, ads are just going to be a huge risk, and you're probably going to end up losing a ton of money. And this is exactly why we've started to see this trend where business owners are moving on to this one specific trick. And this new method is actually cold DMs. Cold DMs are really in a league of their own because they don't suffer from everything that we just talked about. So I'm going to dive into some of the bad messages that I've been receiving on Twitter so we can analyze them. Take a look at this message and let me know what you think. This was a cold DM that I was sent a couple days ago, and most people wouldn't click on it. Mostly because this type of DM was popular maybe a couple years ago, but super ineffective as of right now. Now, the game has really changed when it comes to cold DMs, because by rewriting cold DMs like these, we can bring in a ton of new leads. Just look at this cold DM. It might not look like much, but that exact cold DM was able to book us over 200 meetings in just 30 days. And that's because we understood the power of cold DMs, and now more and more business owners are starting to get the hang of it and are taking advantage of it. And so how do you write powerful cold DM scripts like the one I just showed you? Let me walk you through it. So why are traditional DM strategies just flat out failing? There's three main reasons. Number one, no personalization. Number two, they're just reusing the same script over and over again. And number three, there's a misalignment between what it is that you are reaching out about and the prospect's needs and wants. So let's go back to the bad example I just showed you. This was the message, and this is the format in which it was sent. So it just said, hi. There was no personalization in terms of name. It's like, hey, do you send cold emails using Smart Lead? If they would have taken 2 seconds to look at my profile, they would have known that we do cold DMs. So you can clearly tell that this was probably just copy and pasted. It's just the same message being sent to thousands of people. You just need to think about kind of what the mindset is of whoever's receiving your message. The first thing they're going to ask is like, okay, who is this guy? For that, you obviously need to have a really well optimized profile picture, name, username, and bio. Those are kind of the main things that you want to look out for. And then number two is going to be like, are they legit or are they just another spammer? All right, so that's an example of a bad cold DM. Now, how would I go about writing a good cold DM? So you want to follow a very basic structure. You would just want to have an opening line with their first name. Then you want to personalize in some way, shape, or form. You want to also identify a challenge and try to dig at the pain points. Now, this isn't going to be the easiest part, but if you know your ICP well, then you should have no issues with this. After that, you can bring up a solution and then you just hit them with a call to action at the end, or you can kind of have the call to action be in the middle. So I'm going to walk you through how we made our best performing scripts. Essentially, that script was a first name. So with this script, we essentially combined these next 4 elements. This is how we did it. Can I send over 1,000 free leads? Because we know our ICP and we know that our ICP always wants more leads. So that is us identifying the challenge. And then this is where we personalize. So it's like looking into their website. So you would look into their website and you'd look at who they've worked with, and then you try to find some similarities. So if they're all SaaS companies, then they work with SaaS companies. You want to find their ICP. That is kind of the main takeaway here. Who are in the market 4, and then we can do even more personalization by looking at what they actually offer to the marketplace, looking at what their services are. And then at the end, something that you can add is a risk reversal. Or if you don't have a really good freebie like we do here, so 1,000 free leads, but you have some really great case studies, then you can also kind of work with that. And so once you have a really good message, a couple things I would do from there. So number one, if you already have a big following, I would just go after your followers who would be like pretty warm leads, and you'd probably get really good reply rates. If you don't have a big following, what I would do is I would just try to find who your ICP follows, scrape those followers, and then send messages out to people that have the keywords that your ICP would have in their bio. And so that way you're reaching out to people that you know have some specific pain point because they're following an authority in their space. And obviously you can personalize manually and you'd get really good results, but if you don't want to go through all that work, you can just use Drippi to send the same quality of messages completely on autopilot, and you don't even need to be on your computer. So what you want to do is you want to go to drippi.ai, you want to hit find leads on the top left hand corner, you want to hit add new lead source, you want to hit lead scraper, and once you're here, you want to find someone that your ICP follows. If you don't know who your ICP follows on Twitter, then what I suggest you do is you go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT who would SaaS founders follow on Twitter, and then start off with those. Let's just say for this example, reaching out to SaaS founders. Number one person that comes to mind is Dan Martell. So I would look up Dan Martell on Twitter. You take his link, you go back to Drippi account source, you paste his link, it'll start loading, and then you can decide if you want to scrape their followers or their following. Here we go. Now we're going to take all his followers, and we're also going to take the people that he follows. We're going to do add source. Now we're going to hit next. You can add as many filters as you'd like. So if we go after SaaS founders, we're probably going to see SaaS, probably going to see something like founder. We're going to see CEO. We're going to see building. And so what this will do is it'll give you a really nice list of leads that you can then go out and send messages out to. Now, something I highly recommend is you go to number of followers and do at least greater than 100 just to make sure you're not sending messages to any bots. And then you're going to hit add a filter, and then you're going to hit next. Once we hit next, we just need to give this lead source a name. So we're going to do Dan Martell SaaS founders, and then we're going to do the date, then we're going to hit save. And now once we have a nice list of leads, we can actually send out the message that we just crafted previously. So you want to go to automation, and you want to hit new automation, then you want to go to cold DM 2.0, then you want to do select source, and you want to select the source that we just looked up. So we're going to find that, and then we're going to go to script personalizer. Okay, we're going to do configure message. For the context, you just want to let AI know what it is that you guys do. So for Drippi, we just say we help business owners close clients through automated Twitter DM outreach. Then once we go into script, this is the script, essentially the same script. We just made the prompts a little bit better. So whenever you're using Drippi, make sure to use the variables shown here. And so essentially what we can do is we can just have AI look into the prospect's website, use the lead's website to determine who their ideal customer might be, insert a list of 2 to 4 job titles for the customer types that fit their ideal customer here. Once you've done that, you want to make sure your settings are set to these right here specifically. You want to select the advanced AI. You want to have AI creativity set to 1.3. Split messages, website context, all websites, include tweet context, all recent tweets. Then we're going to hit next. You can add as many follow-ups as you like. Highly recommend having at least one follow-up. Here, we're just talking about another one of Drippi's features. You can also just DM any new follower that you get automatically. We're going to hit next. And now you want to keep an eye on these right here. So just take a screenshot of these settings right here, because these settings are the best settings when it comes to Twitter outreach. You want to skip previously contacted. You want to use the do not contact list. AI language check, so our ICP speaks English. So activity check, so what this means is if they've been active on Twitter within the last 30 days, you will send them a message. Then you want to prevent cross-account duplicates, super important, so you're not reaching out to the same people from multiple accounts with the same message. And then you can even do AI location check. So what this means is you can essentially filter who you send messages out to by where they're at. And then you can hit start automation and you will be well on your way. And so that is the new lead generation method that is completely taking over the internet. And if you want to use Drippi to make this process way easier, just check the link in the description and it'll give you a 7-day free trial. Sending cold DMs is literally just the tip of the iceberg though. Marketing on social media, especially Twitter and Twitter DMs, can be really daunting, which is why I made a full course completely free here on YouTube that walks you through the exact strategy that we're using as a whole to make Twitter our main lead generation platform. And that's pretty much it. Appreciate you, and we'll speak soon. Peace.